Judges 16. Samson went to Gaza, where he saw a prostitute and went to bed with her. When the Gazites heard that Simon was there, they surrounded the place and ambushed for him all that night at the city gate. They kept quiet all night, saying, "Let's wait until dawn, then we kill him." But Simon stayed in bed only until midnight. Then he got up and took the door of the city gate along with 2 gateposts and pulled them out, bar and all. He put them on his shoulder and took them to the top of the mountain overlooking Harbon. Some time later, he fell in love with a woman named Delia, who lived in the Sorek Valley. The Philistines leader went to her and said, "Pursue him and tell you where his great strength comes from, so we can overpower him, tie him up and make him helpless. Each of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver." So Delia said to Samson, "Please tell me, where does your strength come from? How could someone tie you up and make you helpless?" Samson told her, "If they tie me up with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I will become weak and be like any other men." The Philistine leaders brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she tied him up with them. While the men in ambush were waiting in her room, she called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are here." But he snapped the bowstrings as a strand of yarn snapped when it touched fire. The secret of his strength remained unknown. Then Delia said to Samson, "You have mocked me and told me lies. Won't you please tell me how you can be tied up?" He told her, "If they tie me up with new ropes that have never been used, I will become weak like any other man." Delia took new ropes, tied him up with them, and shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are here." But while the men in the ambush were waiting in her room, he snapped the ropes off his arms like a thread. Then Delia said to Samson, You have mocked me all along and told me lies. Tell me how you can be tied up." He told her, "If you weave us the 7 beads to my hand and to the fabric on the loom." She fastened the bead with a pin and called to him, "Simon, the Philistines are here." He awoke from his sleep and pulled out the pin with the loom and the web. "How can you say I love you?" she told him, "when your heart is not with me? This is the 3rd time You have mocked me and told me that your strength is so great. 'Cause she nagged him day after day, pleaded with him until he wore him out. He told her the whole truth and said to her, "My hair has never been cut because I am a Nazarite to God from birth. If I am shaved, my strength will leave me, and I will become weak and be like any other men." When Dahlia realized that he told her the whole truth, she sent this message to the Philistine leaders, "Come one more time, for he has told me the whole truth." The Philistine leaders came to her and brought the silver with them. Then she let him fall asleep on her lap and called him a man to shave off the 7 braids of his head in this way. She made him helpless, and his strength left him. Then she cried, "Samson, the Philistines are here." When he awoke from his sleep, he said, "I will escape as I did before and shake myself free." But he did not know the Lord had left him. The Philistines seized him and got his eyes, then brought him down to Gaza and bound him with bronze shackles. And he was forced to grind grain in the prison, but his hair began to grow back after it has been shaved. Now the Philistines' leader gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to their god Dagon. They rejoiced and said, "Our God has handed over our enemy Samson to us." When the people saw him, they praised their God and said, "Our God has handed over to us our enemy who destroyed our land and who multiplied our dead when they were in good spirits." They said, "Bring Samson here to entertain us." So they brought Samson from prison, and he entertained them. They had him stand between the pillars. Samson said to the young man who was leading him by the hand, "Lead me where I can feel the pillars separating the temple so I can lean against them." The temple was full of men and women were there, and about 3,000 men and women were on the roof watching Samson entertain them. He called out to the Lord, "Lord God, please remember me, strengthen me, God, just once more. When one act of vengeance, let me pay back the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars supporting the temple and leaned against them, one of his right hand and one the other on his left. Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." He paused with all his might. He pushed with all his might, and the temple fell on the leaders and all the people in it, and those he killed at his death were more than those he had killed in his life. Then his brother and his father's whole family came down, carried him back, and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of his father Mona. So he judged Israel 20 years.
Judges 17. The men of Ephraim were called together and crossed the Jordan to Zaphon. They said to Jephthah, "Why have you crossed over to fight against the Ammonites, but didn't call us to go with you? We will burn your house with you in it." Then Jephthah said to them, "My people and I had bitter conflict with them, with the Ammonites. So I called for you, but you didn't believe me. From their power, when I saw that you weren't going to deliver me, I took my life in my own hands and crossed over to the Ammonites, and the Lord handed them over to me. Why then have you come today to fight against me?" Then Jephthah gathered all the men of Gilead. They fought and defeated Ephraim, because Ephraim had said, "You Gileadites are Ephraim's fugitives in the territories of Ephraim and Manasseh." The Gileadites captured the fords of the Jordan leading to Ephraim. Whenever a fugitive from Ephraim said, "Let me cross over," the Gileadites asked him, "Are you an Ephraimites?" If he answered no, they told him, "Please say Shibboleth." If he said Siboleth, because he could not pronounce it correctly, they seized him and executed him at the fords of the Jordan. At that time, 42,000 from Ephraim died. Jephthah judged Israel 6 years, and when he died, he was buried in one of the cities of the Gilead. Ibzan, who was from Bethlehem, judged Israel after Jephthah and had 30 sons. He gave his 30 daughters in marriage to men outside the tribe and brought back 30 wives for his sons from outside the tribe. Ibzan judged Israel 7 years, and when he died, he was buried in Bethlehem. Elon, who was from Zebulun, judged Israel after Ibzan. He judged Israel 10 years, and when he died, he was buried in Aijalon in the land of Zebulun. After Elon, Abdon, son of Hillel, who was from Pirathon, judges Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons, who rode on 70 donkeys. Adons judged Israel 8 years, and when he died, he was buried in Pirathon in the land of Ephraim, in the hill country of the Amalekites. Judges 17. There was a man from the hill country of Ephraim named Micah. He said to his mother, "The 1,100 pieces of silver taken from you, and that I heard you place a curse on. Here's the silver I took. I took it." Then his mother said, "My son, may you be blessed by the Lord." He returned the 1,800 pieces of silver to his mother, and his mother said, "I personally consecrate the silver to the Lord for my son's benefit, to make a carved image and silver idol. I will give it back to you." So he returned the silver to his mother, and she took 5 pounds of silver and gave it to the silversmith. He made it into a carved image and silver idol, and it was in Micah's house. This man Micah had a shrine, and he made an ephod and household idols, and installed one of his sons to be his priest. In those days, there were no king in Israel. Everyone did whatever seemed right to him. There was a young man, a Levite from Bethlehem in Judah, who was staying with him within the clan of Judah. The man left in town of Bethlehem in Judah to stay wherever he could find a place. On his way, he came to Micah's home in the hill country of Ephraim. "Where do you come from?" Micah asked him. He answered, "I am a Levite from Bethlehem in Judah, and I am going to stay wherever I can find a place." Micah replied, "Stay with me, and my father and priest and I will give you for once of silver a year, along with your clothing and provisions." So the Levite went in and agreed to stay with the man, and the young man became like one of his sons. Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest and lived in Micah's house. Then Micah said, "Now I know what the Lord will be good to me. I know that the Lord will be good to me, because a Levite has become my priest."
Judges chapter 18. In those days, there was no king in Israel, and the Danite tribe was looking for territory to occupy. Up to that time, no territory had been captured by them among the tribes of Israel. So the Danites sent out 5 brave men from all their clans, from Zorah and Eshtaol, to scout out the land and explore it. They told them, "Go and explore the land." They came to the hill country of Ephraim, as far as the home of Micah, and spent the night there. While they were near Micah's home, they recognized the accent of the young Levite. So they went over to him and asked, "Who brought you here? What are you doing in this place? What is keeping you here?" He told them, "This is what Micah has done for me. He has hired me, and I became his priest." Then they said to him, "Please inquire of God for us to determine if we will have a successful journey." The priest told them, "Go in peace. The Lord is watching over the journey you are going on." The 5 men left and came to Laish. They saw that the people who were there were living securely, in the same way as the Sidonians, quiet and unsuspecting. There was nothing lacking in the land and no oppressive ruler. They were far from the Sidonians, having no alliance with anyone. When the men went back to their relatives at Zorah and Eshtaol, their relatives asked them, "What did you find out?" They answered, "Come on, let's attack them, for we have seen the land and it is very good. Why wait? Don't hesitate to go and invade and take a possession of the land. When you get there, you will come to an unsuspecting people and a spacious land, for God has handed it over to you. It is a place where nothing on earth is lacking. 600 Danites departed from Zorah and Eshtaol, armed with weapons of war. They went up and camped at Kiriath Jearim in Judah. This is why the people is still called the Camp of Dan till today. It is west of Kiriath Jearim. From there, they traveled to the hill country of Ephraim and arrived at Micah's house. The 5 men who had gone to scout out the land of Laish told their brothers, "Did you know that there are an ephod household gods and a carved image and a silver idol in this houses? Now think about what you should do." So they detoured there and went to the house of the young Levite at the home of the Micah and greeted him. The 600 Danite men were standing by the entrance of the city gate, armed with their weapons of war. Then the 5 men who had gone to scout out the land went in and took the carved image, the ephod, the household idols, and the silver doll, while the priest was standing by the entrance of the city gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. When they entered Micah's house and took the carved images, the ephod, the household dolls, and the silver doll, the priest said to them, "What are you doing?" They told him, "Be quiet. Keep your mouth shut. Come with us and be a father and a priest to us. Is it better for you to be a priest for the house of one person, or for you to be a priest for a tribe and family in Israel?" So the priest was pleased and took the ephod, household idols, and carved images, and went with the people. They prepared to leave, putting their dependents, livestock, and possessions in front of them. After they were some distance from Micah's house, the men who were in the house near it were mustered and caught up with the Danites. They called to the Danites, who turned to face them and said to Micah, "What is the matter with you that you mustered the men?" He said, "You took the gods I had made and the priests and went away. What do I have left? How can you say to me, 'What's the matter with you?'" The Danites said to him, "Don't raise your voice against us, or an angry man will attack you, and you and your family will lose your lives." The Danites went to their way, and Micah turned to go back home, because he saw that they were stronger than he was. After they had taken the gods Micah had made and the priest that belonged to him, they went to Laish, to a quiet and unsuspecting people. They killed them with their swords and burned the city. There was no one to rescue them because it was far from Sidon, and they had no alliance with anyone. It was in a valley that belonged to Beth-rehob. They rebuilt the city and lived in it. They named the city Dan, after the name of their ancestor Dan, who was born to Israel. The city was formerly named Laish. The Danites set up the carved image for themselves. Jonathan, son of Gershom, son of Moses, and his sons were priests for the Danite tribe until the time of the exile from the land. So they set up for themselves Micah's carving image that he had made, and it was there as long as the house of God was in Shiloh.